Hey guys, this is Kaye with Jonathan and Kaye Wedding Films, and I'm just going to color correct this image for you, and I want to show you how I use scopes. So I use Red Giant Colorista. I have the whole suite, but you only need Colorista for this. Colorista is amazing for exposure as well as color correction. So here's the scopes, and down here are the shadows, and there's a lot of crushed shadows. Obviously, if we're at nighttime, all this crushed black here. These are our mid-tones, and this is our highlights. We can tell that there's more green and blue and less red in this shot, and so I'm just going to start pushing over to the warmth. And don't get too hung up right now. This is going up. We'll adjust anything that's over the 1.0 line, because anything above it we're losing detail in the highlights. So, and then I'm going to push this over, and I can just use my eye. You know, if you're already using just your eye for color correction, just go ahead and do that. And then you can just use the scopes as a reference to, okay, so what did that do to my image? Am I losing anything? Am I forfeiting anything by the changes that I made? It's just a guide. It's not, it's kind of like a GPS. You know, when you're on your GPS, or your GPS is taking you somewhere and you know it's taking you on a wrong turn, okay, just use your brain. Say, okay, that's, you know, it's just using this as a reference. Let me know, or I know that I need to do something a little bit differently. So this is just a guide, even though it's way more accurate than a GPS. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is actually I want to come over here and bring down these reds. I'm going to target certain, you can target certain colors using the curves, and this is all the luminescence of that color. So the shadows, any reds that are in shadows, any reds that are in the midtones, and any reds that are in the highlights, I'm just going to bring, because I see this over here, so I just want to bring it down below the 1.0. Okay. And I'm actually going to bring the green down a little bit. I feel like looking at this with my eye, this light looks green. And if I bring that down, that actually brings down the saturation of that green right there. It looks a little more white, so I like that. And I could probably afford to bring up the midtones a little bit. And by doing that, that raised the shadows. And because it's nighttime, it looks like they're all, you know, low enough, but I know that I want them touching a little bit more. When it's not nighttime, you'd really have been able to see that the shadows got lifted, and you want to bring those back down to touch the zero line. So let me just play around a little bit more with the color. And I do feel like I see a little bit too much blue here in his jacket. And I'm looking over here. I mean, this all looks pretty even, but I wouldn't mind this being a little bit warmer of a shot. So I'm okay if the reds go a little bit higher. So let me push towards the reds. It brings the blues down. Okay. Whoa, it brought the blues way down. Okay, so before and after. Let me bring back, since I shoved the, since I moved the blacks over to the warm, let me bring back the midtones a little bit. There we go, that might be a little bit better. And you know, I'm gonna bring down some of this blue highlight too. This brings down the saturation as well as that luminescence. And I'm going to boost. Let me see what that looks like. It's going to be too high. We're blowing that light out on the boat. It bothers me a little bit. But it is a light source. We can't really do much about that. And I'm going to increase the saturation of the orange. Okay, I'm trying to get more skin color in here on her. That just lit this up. So let's see, what else could I do to, maybe she doesn't have enough color information in her skin in this light. It looks like red worked. I brought up red a little bit. I'll bring orange back a little bit. I'm okay if it's really warm back there. I think that looks kind of cool. with all the tungsten lights and the sparklers still in the background and the dock lights. I think I like that, you guys. All right, so come back over here. We went over the one just a little bit. I can just bring that back down. But, you know, light sources, I'm not super concerned if it goes over. And this was just a tricky image in general. Oh, what I do want to do, one last thing. The blacks are really crushed, okay? Let me actually lift the black a little bit. And that was a little too much. So the green is still touching and the blue's touching here. So right there, let's go down with the green. Let's try something, you guys. Let's do it where just the black is the blue is touching the line. Then let's come down here and customize the green to touch. And now we'll bring the red down to touch. So I think that looks not too much different than if I had, let's see. So what I did is I evened out all the colors. Let me just bring them all down together just a little bit more using the master black. Sorry, you guys, I feel like this just turned into a really confusing video. This was supposed to be simple. I keep choosing like really difficult shots. But I think that works. Okay, so let me copy it, paste this over here, see how that looks. That looks great. Love that. And one last one. So that one's a little bright, but I can just come back in here. Oh, why did it paste two? I have one in there. Okay, I do not know what's going on. Anyways, apparently I'm having issues with my copy and paste. I think that's what I was, yep, that was supposed to be this right here. I think that was just like an empty magic bullet. So I think that looks wonderful too. Anyways, I hope this wasn't super confusing. Let me know if you have any feedback. I want to do more of these to help you guys learn how to use scopes better. So, all right, stay tuned for more.